I'm back today because it's been a minute since I've done a video, right? So I'm gonna really try and push one out for you at least once a week. So for the first one of the beginning of the year, I'm going to try my hand at some chicken and dumplings. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've only made it once in my life. So this time I'm gonna try and make it again because I've gathered some tips from family members and I think I'm gonna rock it for you. Are you ready to have some fun in the kitchen? Let's go. Okay, for ingredients, I'm trying something new. My cousin suggested this Mary B's dumplings. You find it in the frozen department. I'm gonna use a little butter, some bay leaves, bell pepper, a yellow onion, some thyme, some chili powder, some Adams all-purpose seasoning, poultry seasoning, cream of chicken and mushroom soup, a little flour, a roasted chicken from the deli, some water, a pinch of red pepper will be in this recipe, some Worcestershire sauce, some chicken broth, and you don't see it, but some vegetable broth too. All right, I used about 1/4 of a bell pepper and 1/4 of a yellow onion. Dice it up real good till you have about 1/2 cup of each to give your whole cup mixed together. All right, I used 4 cups of water. As you can see, I broke up my chicken in half so that it can fit perfectly in the pot. And then I used a whole container of chicken broth. You can use unsalted, low sodium. This one's fat-free. I used a whole container, so that's 4 cups. 4 cups of water, 4 cups of chicken broth. All right, I'm adding my diced onions and bell pepper. Trying to push my chicken down a little bit. Get it covered pretty much. I'm going to use a tablespoon of unsalted butter. All right. 1/2 tablespoon of my all-purpose rub. You get this from H-E-B. I love it. You can use it up just about everything. I used 1/2 teaspoon of poultry seasoning. Give or take about 1/2 teaspoon. I don't measure really though. These are estimates. About 1/4 of teaspoon to 1/2 of thyme. And I would say 1/4 to 1/2 a teaspoon of chili powder. Then I add 1/2 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and that's really to give my chicken a little more flavor. A shake here and there of some crushed red pepper, which is purely optional. If you don't like red pepper, you don't have to use it. Like I said, I use just a pinch. I don't want it really hot, but I do want some flavor. All right, take your wooden spatula. You're going to mix in your seasoning gently. I'm going to add 2 to 3 average-sized bay leaves. Not too many because you don't want the bay leaves to overpower your other seasonings. Turn your burner on medium-high. Add a pinch of salt, and this is kosher salt. And let it simmer. And while that's simmering for 30 minutes, you're going to take a 1/4 cup of flour. Doesn't matter if it's all-purpose or self-rising. It really doesn't matter. But a 1/4 cup of flour and spread it out. I don't have a cutting board. I'm actually using a top to another container. Sprinkle here 2 of garlic powder and a little sprinkle of some Adam's all-purpose into your flour. And you're gonna take your hand and blend these 2 into the flour really well and spread it all over your tray. All right, let's see what these look like. Like I said, this is my first time, so I have no idea what they look like. They have a recipe on the back for chicken and dumplings. I'm not using that, I'm using my own. Uh-oh, my cousin told me to use 3 sheets. It looks like they changed the style of packaging. She said use 3 and cut in thirds. So that means I'm going to use roughly about 10 to 12 of these. Let's see, yeah. I'll take out about roughly 10 or 12. I usually like a lot of dumplings, but because I've never used this before, I don't know how large they will swell during the cooking process, so I'm going to stick with this number since it's my first time. You're going to take your strip and you're going to dredge it in the flour, the seasoned flour, front and back. And don't shake off the flour. Let's do a few more of these. All right. You want to do each strip like this. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these into thirds. You could cut them into fourths, depending on how large you like your dumplings. This is about the size I like them. You can cut yours fourths or even half a strip. But for me, like I said, this is my first time using them, so I'm basing it on the size I usually like. And this is about the size for me. And I'm doing some more. You want to put your strips to the side, and now you're going to empty a can of your cream of chicken and mushroom soup into a container. I ran out of chicken broth, so guess what? I'm using vegetable broth. It's your choice. You can use chicken broth or vegetable broth. And I'm using 2 cups of vegetable broth. Mixing my vegetable broth in with the soup. Right now I'm going to add just a pinch of poultry seasoning. And a pinch of garlic powder. Next I take my whisk and whisk it in really well. All right, that looks good. All right, now it's time to remove the chicken from the broth, and you want to remove every piece and bone of chicken from your broth. I'm having a hard time gathering it up with this utensil. You're going to put in a container. So that all you have left is just the broth. And it smells so good. All right, now you want to remove all of the skin, bones, and gristles. You don't want any of that in your chicken and dumplings. It takes the fun out of enjoying the dish if you have to fight around bones and spit out gristles and what have you. So you want to toss all of that. Next, you want to break up your chicken. And it's up to you how small you break it up. You can do chunks or you can shred it finely. All right, now it's time to drop your dumplings into your chicken broth. And you want to drop these in individually. And let it simmer for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you want to add your chicken. And I forgot to say this, but periodically you want to go back and stir those dumplings so that they don't stick. All right, you're going to let your chicken and dumplings simmer on medium for about 30 more minutes. The dumplings took about 40 minutes. I don't know if let's see, did that add up right? Just make sure you cook your dumplings for a good 30 minutes so that they're nice and tender. And now we're done. Looks delicious, right? You can see all the flavors in it. Let's eat. All right, friends, we are done with this chicken and dumpling. Like I said, this is only my second time cooking it, and it was fun. It looks slightly different from how I envision it to look. The dumplings are really, really flat, so when I first cooked dumpling years ago, I used biscuits. It was a little thicker. So let's see what this is like. My cousin, shout out to her. Her name is Yolanda. She's the one that recommended that I try Mary B. So let's see, how does it taste? Did you get a good look at it? Look at all the seasoning and the dumplings. Oh my God. And I wish you guys could smell it. It smells so good. All right, enough of that. Let's make. Some people eat dumplings with a fork. I don't want to miss a drop, so I'm using a nice big spoon so I can get dumpling and chicken together all in one bite. Let's see. Ready? Let's find out. Oh my goodness. Y'all know I always say that, right? When I say, oh my goodness, it's good. Oh my goodness. Ooh, sweet. I am a Southern girl, and I'm really impressed with this second version of chicken and dumplings. The dumplings are tender. I will have all of the measurements and the time frames on how long you cook things down in the description box. Let's do one more bite. Oh my God, it's so delicious. I just use bell pepper, onions, and some spices. I've noticed some people, maybe depending on what area of the country you live in, you'll use peas and carrots. My mom never cooked chicken and dumplings. I didn't have it until I moved to Texas. And my aunt never had peas and carrots in hers. So that's why I didn't add any into mine. My aunt was raised in East Texas, and this was one of her favorite dishes, my cousin Yolanda's mom. Never had peas and carrots in it, so that's why I didn't put any in mine. But remember, my recipes are just ideas to get you motivated to go in there and experiment in the kitchen. So if you want to add peas and carrots to yours, do that. All right, I'm sure it's good. That's really good, guys. Let me know, what do you think about this video and this recipe if you're gonna try it out? Let me know. Don't forget, hit like, subscribe, and share. Thanks. Peace.